Hey, this is Matt Boldy, and you're listening to Locked On Wild.
Hey, this is Marcus Foligno, and you're listening to Locked On Wild.
You're Locked On Wild, your daily podcast on the Minnesota Wild. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, everybody, we are here and ready, and without further ado, I'm going to hand it right off to the man of the hour, Denny. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to What the Hell Are You Smoking? Sorry for the late delay, but we had a real fire like 3 doors down from me, and this place is just full of smoke. Oh, my God. At any rate, I got a lot to talk about tonight. I have 4 new picks that I think would work for the Wild. And I want to talk about what I'm seeing at the Wild right away. To start off with Wallstedt. I don't know if anybody has noticed this, but with Wallstedt, he's not coming out to meet the shooters now. He's staying too far back in the net. That one goal from the kid who got his first goal, he didn't come out to challenge him at all, and he left too much space. And that's just, goalies go through that time to time. I'm sure they'll see it on the film and go over it, and that'll be that. But that's just one thing I've noticed. Other than, he made some sensational plays in overtime. And then we're going to talk about the shootouts in overtime. Now, I have brought this up before, and I'm bringing it up again because I can see it's a real problem. I don't know how many shows ago it was. I think it was at the beginning of the season before the season started. Some things that I wanted to see the Wild do. And that's do a tourney with the team in-house to see who's got the best shootout shots. They definitely need to do that because they're guessing right now. They're professionals. Hines needs to know who he can depend on. Krill's at 37%. And that's not good numbers for it's Krill, but 37%, he would not be shooting a shootout for me until the end. Putting in Tarasenko, who's 29% lifelong, he shouldn't be there. Zugs, yeah. My main thing is, if you do a tournament between everybody, you know exactly what you have. You don't have to guess. Whoever wins the tournament goes first, or takes second, third, etc. And I really think that would be a good way for the team to come together, have a little chutzpah between the players. And it only makes sense to me. What do you think, Seth?
I mean, I like the idea. I think we're just seeing the gruesome effects of the truncated schedule in that there's just not a lot of practice time these days.
That's true. That's a big deal with no practice time. But having 3 shootouts in 5 games, I said, 2-3 weeks ago that I could see this happening, and it is. But it'd be nice for Hines to know who to put out there instead of guessing.
Yeah, I'll agree there. It feels like there are a handful of guys on the roster that just go to the same well every time without making any adjustments. Like Zuccarello has done, and to be fair, he's probably done the same thing his entire career, but it's clearly not working right now. Kirill's isn't working. Like you gotta adjust. Like look at what Boldy did for his shootout goal. He kind of started one way and then he went to the backhand. Like you got to make adjustments.
Well, just remember Mikko Koivu had a shot that the goalies, he knew he was going to do it and they couldn't stop it. And that's what the Wild have to practice. And I've said this a few times. They have to practice on a shot the goalie can't stop. It's plain and simple. And, when you're in a shootout like that, he who moves first loses. And I mean the goalie. He moves one way, then you got him. And that's just how it works. So if you can come up with a shot to make the goalie move, you're going to win most of the time. So I hope they get to that point.
Or just fire up a clap bomb from the face-off circles. Something.
Yes. That Tarasenko just shoot. That's terrible. I don't know what Hines was thinking there. I'm sure he's just trying to give him a chance, but we need these points. You know, now that Colorado has suffered 2 significant injuries, you're going to see them come back down to earth a little bit. With Landeskog and Toews both on going on the injury reserve, that gives us a chance to catch them. And I don't say that lightly. You know, because as I've said before, this is the best Wild team in 25 years. And THG in a show a couple days ago said that he had the Wild at 115 points. Well, if you remember at the beginning of the season, I had the Wild at 113. But that was before the addition of Hughes. Now I'm pegging him at 120. We'll see how close I get. But I really think Colorado's going to come back down to earth because, you know, Landeskog, he is the heart and soul of that team. And losing him is like for us to lose Kirill, I think. And Toews is, you know, he's a hell of a defender. Him and Makar are a great 1-2 punch there. They're going to miss him. So I see the Wild catching up. At least I hope so. Moving on. I've been getting, as always, but I've been getting some comments that I can't believe they're saying. And I want to address that tonight. And also on what was the final for the poll?
As far as reactions go, pretty much everybody said that they don't think we've got enough to go get Jack Hughes.
There you go. We have no assets to make a trade. Well, I disagree completely, and I'll tell you why. Number one, as bad as the Iowa club is total, they're ranked number 2 in talent in the NHL. Number 2 by Scott Wheeler of the Athletic. And the lowest I've seen is 8. There's a lot of talent. They're just not mixing up. You know, something's not working right down there. But I like the coach down there. He's getting things put together. And we're going to have, I forget his name from Discourse.
Jeremy
McDude. We're going to have him on to talk about the Iowa Wild here soon. At any rate,
let's put sorry to cut you off, but let's just put this out here because of next week. Because the Wild play on Monday night at 7. Next week's show will be a Sunday night show.
Oh, okay.
Just wanted to put that out there very far in advance because of the fact that the Wild play at 7 o'clock next Monday. We'll have a Sunday night show.
Sounds good to me.
Continue.
Okay. All right. Now I've gone through all the teams. I mean, not all the first place teams and stuff, but all the bottom dwellers. And I've picked up 4 players that we could actually trade for. And yes, we do have the assets. And I'll explain that here in a minute. Number one, I'm going to start. Tavares from Toronto, still my number 1 pick. But I have a new one. JT Miller from the New York Rangers. The Rangers are a mess. They're not going anywhere. And he's not happy in New York. So I think we would have a good shot at getting if they want him now. He's, let me see, he's 59% in the dot. He's signed through 29-30. He's on $8 million contract. So he's definitely doable for us. Another one, his partner, Vincent Trocheck. He's at $5.65 million. He's 55% in the dot. He's like 28-29 season. Now my last one is Nico Hershiser of the Devils. He's 7.25, 8 million, 8.5 million. He's 54% in the dot, and he's signed through 27. Those are 4 very realistic people that we could trade for. New Jersey's a mess. When I brought up Hughes, after thinking about it, I would pass on Hughes. He's hurt all the time. He's actually only played in 77% of the games since he started. And he's got a lingering shoulder injury, and then he had the finger thing. But he's just too beat up for what you'd have to give up to get him. And I'm in the opinion of this. I mean, we need a first line center, but I'm not giving away the team for anybody. And it's been suggested to me that Euro would have to be part of the package. Hell no. The one person that we would probably have to include in the package is Starmer. And Starmer is now a beast at Michigan Tech or Michigan State. And, most people have him projected as a third line center. I got him projected as a second. But it doesn't matter. He's a hell of a trade piece. Any one of these, 1 and 2 pieces or 1 and 3 pieces, whatever it takes. We're all in. And when you're all in, going for the cup, you do what you got to do. Because we certainly need a first-line center. I mean, I love Yarov. His game is growing by leaps and bounds. But he's not a first-line contender on a cup team. At best, he's a second. He's well-suited in the third. So, everybody, what are your thoughts on JT Miller, who is my pick? Well,
just let us know in the comments, JT Miller, yay or nay.
And then also, let me get here. I got all these notes. So I looked at Morgan Frost, Sean Monahan from Columbus. He's at 53%. He's probably somebody we could get to. Anton Lundell, Thomas Hurdle, Morgan Frost from Calgary, and Stenlund from Utah. All these centers have 53% or higher in the dot. We need, most important, as far as I'm concerned, we got to have someone we know who can win the draw. And that's why I like Tavares the best, because he's at 60% this year. Right now, our best face-off man is Eck. And what is his percentage now, Seth? Do you know?
Slightly below 50.
There you go. So getting any one of these players would be a huge upgrade because, as you notice, defensive draw and the penalty kill, how many times do we get scored on because we lost the draw and you score right off the draw? That'll put an end to that. And when it comes playoff time, that's very important. And I had a gentleman from Judd Show. His name is Goat Satan Rex. He told me that the game has passed me by, that I'm not too bright, maybe never have been, and that we have no assets to trade. So here we go. When you have the number 2 ranked talent in the NHL in your farm club, that's a lot of assets. And if I'm making a trade, you know what? I just say, pick 2 and let's go, make the deal. And of course, Charlie Starmer would probably be 1, but, and of course, you'd have to give up a first round. But we have a lot of assets. Just because they're not playing well now, it doesn't mean that we don't have the talent. Judd Brackett just keeps filling the coffers. And, I don't know what you know, Seth, or what you think about it, but, when Scott Wheeler says we're number 2 in the NHL for talent, that means something. Your thoughts?
I would say as far as assets to deal go, you've got a surplus on defense. I mean, there's no room for any prospects really at this point, and you have Juracek as like your 8th defenseman right now. You're pretty set for at least
Yes.
the next 3-4 years, 2-3 years, maybe max. You're pretty set. So I would say you can deal some defensive prospects. Would it stink to lose Carson Lambos? Yeah, but again, he can't help you right now.
I'm of the opinion, whatever we've got to do to give up to get a first-line player. And I don't see anything wrong with any of the 4 that I picked, and I think they're all doable, especially the Rangers. Now, Toronto's in free fall, and as soon as they figure out they're not going to make it, Tavares has got no trade. Excuse me, but all they got to do is ask him if he wants to go to be a cup winner or not. I think most times they're going to say yes. No, I think Nashville's out. I'm pretty sure Buffalo's out now because, when you have a 10-game win streak, that team is playing extremely well. And I think Nashville's 7-3, 8-2 in their last 10. They're playing really well too. So I don't see Nashville selling now. I think there maybe be a buyer now. And so your thoughts on my picks would be greatly appreciated.
As far as JT Miller goes, people are kind of lukewarm on that because he was with Quinn Hughes. And so unless Quinn signed off on it, people are probably a pass on that.
Well, all you got to do is ask Hughes. I mean, I don't know the relationship. I'm just looking at the best players that fit the position. You also got Trocheck, Nico Hershiser. I mean, any one of those 4 would be a helpful addition, and it would address the needs that we need somebody who can win in the dot, bottom line. And all 4 of them would be our first-line center, and I don't see any problem with any of them. It's just what deal you can work out. But as far as for assets, we got all kinds of assets. And you're being a little short-sighted to think that we don't. And probably nobody knew that we have the second best talent class in the NHL in the farm team. So maybe you learned a little something there. At least I hope you did. Then also, I have been asked to go on Locked On Vegas. I'll probably be the next Wild game, but they have asked me to come on the show. I wrote a comment to them, and that was the answer. They want me to come on and spend some time with them. So it'll be my very first time going on another show, which is just cool as hell. Any questions or comments right now?
Trav says, boy, my internet is just a disaster right now. Hughes is very injury prone, but if you bring him in, you guarantee that Quinn resigns.
That's true. That's a very good point, Trav. I thought about that, but he's hurt so much. When you have a shoulder injury like Hughes does, that doesn't bode well. It's just like something like Tarasenko had, and he's never been the same. And this isn't just a one-year thing. He's been hurt this whole time in the NHL. When you lose over 30% of the games because you're hurt, I would just pass on him. Believe me, Hughes loves playing here. I don't see any problem with them re-signing him at all. And if we can get Hughes on a good deal, well, sure, you got to take a deal, but they're going to ask for the moon for him. And I don't think he's worth it. Whatever they ask for. You know how it goes with James.
Yeah. I wonder if Yurov or Jesper would be asked for in return for a guy like Jack Hughes.
Well, I'm sure they're going to bring that up, but that's an absolutely no for me. I would not give up either goalie, period. I wouldn't give them up for anybody.
Yeah.
We have the best goalie duo, and they both can steal games. and we're going to need it in the playoffs. So bottom line, you know, the playoffs is another totally different game. It gets much heavier, a lot more checking, a lot more injuries. And, you know, like I've said before, the Wild can withstand. We have the depth on our team now to withstand injuries. You know, for now, Bogel's out tonight, and we got Stenberg in. I like his game. You know, and he played a few games for us. I really like what he brought to the table. And we're not losing anything by having him play. That's just how much depth the Wild have right now. Next, if any.
Jay mentioned Nick Schmaltz, but as I mentioned in the episode with Alex, he said like 42% in the dot. And the numbers are worse. His numbers face-off wise are worse on special teams than that.
Yeah, he scores 20 goals a year, but that doesn't address the needs that the Wild have. The Wild needs somebody they can depend on to win the face-off. Bottom line, that's all we're missing. We got everything else. We're good to go.
If you gave me the option between a 20-goal scorer or a 15-goal scorer that is a guaranteed upgrade in the dot, I would take the 15-goal scorer that's the guaranteed upgrade.
Absolutely. You know, and all four players that are the lowest is 55%. 55, 55, 59, and 60. They address the needs that they address what we need, bottom line. You know, and Billy is already, Gideon Hughes is the biggest trade in Wild history. And he's already made his legacy with the Minnesota Wild. He's all in. And I'm absolutely certain he's going to get another player. First line center. He knows what we need. I mean, I love Yarov. His game is growing by leaps and bounds. But he's a little inconsistent yet, and he will be. But he does have the talent, and his two-way game I'm very impressed with, and he goes to the net. I like everything about him. He's just, you know, he's a kid learning the game. In the playoffs, he's a third liner all day long. But that's just my thoughts. I don't know what you guys think. Maybe you can tell me I don't know what I'm doing. Next question.
What about Nazem Kadri?
I don't like his contract at all. I've looked at Nazem. I tell you who I like from Calgary, and that's Morgan Frost. But I don't think he's actually available. You know, he's a young kid. They just signed him long term. And I think he's at 55. Let me see here. Yeah, he's at 55%. So if we get Morgan Frost, I would take him. Kadri, he's a little overpaid for what he does. I mean, if we could get a steal on him and they pay half the money, sure. But Calgary doesn't really deal that way. And, you know, I like Kadri as a player, though. I mean, when he was with Colorado, look what he did in the playoffs. It's because of Kadri that they won the cup. If you look back at all the big goals he scored, geez. But I really do see the Wild catching up to Colorado. You can't take two great big hits like that and expect them to go 10-0. I just don't see anywhere. You know, Florida beat them 2-1 last night in an excellent played game. And, you know, I think that's a sign of things to come because you can't lose two of your very best players and not expect to take a hit. Anyway, that's what I'm hoping for. Any thoughts, Seth?
Yeah, you know, it's going to be fascinating to see what January illuminates and which teams that are playing well right now fade, which teams that are not playing well right now get back on their feet. I think I'll still say that I think there's going to be kind of a mini trade deadline before the Olympics, just because teams want to get that short out so that they don't have to take a chance that the guy that they want gets hurt during the Olympics and then they can't get him. So I think there's going to be kind of a mini trade deadline a month out. But I think in the next 3 weeks, we're really going to get an idea as to who's in, who's out.
Well, right now between last place and a playoff spot is 5 points. So everybody's still hoping. That's what makes it so much more impressive for what Billy did with Vancouver. I mean, that was just, I never saw it coming. Did you? I didn't. But, greatest trade in wild history as far as I'm concerned. It cements Billy's legacy in the Minnesota Wild. And I'm very confident that he's going to do one more deal. He knows we need a first-line center. And, sending 8 people to the Olympics is damn impressive. But both our goalies holding down the fort in Sweden there. And, Boldy has turned into a superstar, in my opinion. And he's only getting better. Is he as good as Kaprizov? Not quite yet. But he's at that level now. I mean, Kaprizov has better edge work. But Boldy has learned how to create space when there is none. I mean, he always had a little bit of it, but now he's becoming spectacular at it. And when you're down low with that kind of shot and you learn how to create your own space, that's just deadly. And it shows. I mean, look what he does for us now. I can remember a show last year we talked about he went 23 games just lollygagging up and down the ice because I think him and Hines had a falling out. And you look at him now, it's just two completely different players. We're so fortunate to have a 1-2 punch like that. And when you match us up with any other team, including Colorado, they have McKinnon, McCarr, they got Kaprizov, Boldy, and Hughes. I mean, hey, I like it. I don't see any team that we need to be scared of. If you look at the thumping we gave Dallas, and Dallas is in a tailspin right now. They've lost, 4 or 5 in a row, Seth?
5 in a row.
Yeah. They're in a tailspin. And good for them.
Really like this. Try this on for size.
All right.
Kyle Ellis, I feel like Billy is test driving Jack in the Olympics, and then he'll sell the farm for him after it all goes well.
Oh, that's an interesting point. That very well could be. Because I could see us getting them. I wouldn't give the moon for them. The brothers want to play together. And like Trav said, if we sign, well, that's an absolute certainty that we're signing both of them long term. And that would really be a coup. But I wouldn't give up 2 firsts and 3 or 4 players for him. He's not Jack Eichel. The last big trade for a first-line center was Eichel in Vegas, and that was, 5 pieces, and that's when he had something wrong with his neck. He's no Eichel either, but he's very good. I mean, when he plays, he's a spectacular player. I mean, I don't know what's in the blood of the Hughes brothers, but geez, I like it. It's kind of like the Pionks from Hermantown.
I was going to say, what if we help the Devils out and add not Jesper, but Gus?
I wouldn't give up either goalie. But then
I looked at Markstrom's contract, and he's making 6. I don't want that. Because you'd have to take a goalie back in return. Yeah.
I don't like Markstrom as a goalie. He's, they got him from Calgary, right? I think it was Calgary. I could be wrong. And he had that one really sensational year, and since he's been traded, he's average to above average goalie, but nothing close to what we have. I mean, we are so fortunate to have the goalie tandem in the league, period. And I will debate that with anybody who says different. When THD just did a top 10 goalies, he had Jesper Wallstedt second, and he had Gus Bus seventh. And there's no team that really comes close to that. Which says a lot, because, THD is very unbiased when it comes to stuff like that. Although he doesn't like the Wild. But his wife does. At any rate, any more questions or comments?
Oh yeah, we got a good flip side question here. I like this one kind of to flip it to the other end. Do you think the Wild can get to the Stanley Cup final without making another trade?
Yes, absolutely. I told you that 3 weeks ago. I think the Wild are winning the cup. I do. When we got Hughes, that was just the cement right there. In order to beat Colorado, we have to play a perfect game, but we did that and we beat them. You can't count the second game, and the reason is, we had 3 games in 4 days, and they were well rested. So you really can't count that one. Even up, we play well against Colorado. We match up well with them. Hughes added such a dimension to our team, and people are starting to realize how well he skates and his vision on the ice. It's superior. I don't know. Only Cale Makar is, potato. It doesn't matter. They're both awesome players. But at least we match up to Colorado that way, because Colorado or Minnesota are winning the cup. There's no teams close. And like I said a long time ago, I spoke to the hockey gods and they told me it's Minnesota's year. And I've been speaking to the hockey gods for a long time, and they're finally giving me some. Next question.
I've got a stat for you that kind of underscores what the Quinn Hughes edition has meant. So what was one of the biggest issues with this team early on in the season, Denny? 5-on-5 scoring.
Yes.
The Wild were early on in the season, they were a bottom 5 team as far as 5-on-5 goals against. Do you know where they stand right now?
First.
15th in the league. They have gone from 28 to 15 in about a 10 to 15 game span.
I think in their last 10 games are first, though.
They are tied with San Jose in the last 10 games for 5-on-5 goals for first in the league.
There you go. Well, at the beginning of the season, the team was a mess. And I told you guys that. And that's why the Minnesota Wild don't like me, because I tell you what I see. And even as old as I am and the game has gone by me, I just tell you what I see. And, you don't have to agree with me. Oh, I want to bring something up. I'm not getting any comments on the show. What the hell's going on with that? I had 127 comments 3-4 weeks ago. Last week I had like 10 and 12 comments. I don't understand that. I mean, I'm the only podcaster that answers all your questions. So please don't stop doing that. That's part of the show. You got questions, fire them at me. I want to know, because that's good interaction. Okay, next.
Let's go to Chad. He says, reflecting on the Quinn Hughes trade after 3 weeks, 100% worth it. He has been so fun to watch.
Oh, he's a joy. I said this before. He reminds me of Bobby Orr. Bobby Orr started defensemen going up ice. Defensemen just didn't do that before Bobby Orr. And I see so much of Hughes and so much Orr and Hughes now. The way he controls the puck, the way he controls the flow of the game. It's just, it's Bobby Orr-like, and you can't have a higher compliment than that because Bobby Orr is the best defenseman ever, in my opinion. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people saying that I'm nuts, but I got to watch him play for 4 or 5 years. And every time he went on the ice, it's just like Hughes now. I mean, getting 4 assists in a game, that just tells you how he reads the play and sets things up. And I saw a comment on Judd's show that he's a center, but he doesn't take face-offs. That's a unique way to look at it, actually. But I don't know. I guess you could look at it that way. What do you think, Seth?
I mean, yeah, I can understand that view. He's a playmaker. Like, he is a playmaker that has the skills as a defenseman that few players have as an offensive player. And
exactly,
just puts it on display every night of the week. And sometimes on Sundays.
What does he have for points now? 12 points?
Because I know, yeah, I think it's 12 because he had another point. He had another point in the game against the Kings. Let me just pull it up here.
11 games, 12 points up, maybe?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking it is.
Yeah.
Yep, 12 points in 11 games.
Well, you can see him averaging a point a game from here on out. I mean, that's how good he really is. And he's just a joy to watch. He does so much for this team. He puts us up on the upper echelon. And I'm just so glad that Billy made that trade. I mean, Jesus. It gives me hope that I'll get to see a cup before I die. I'm not kidding. I've been waiting a long time. And also, I've been getting a lot of questions about my birthday game. It's the Chicago Blackhawks, January 27th. And I'll be at Zamboni's about 5:30, so we can all spend a half hour, 45 minutes, and have a drink, shoot the shit, get pictures taken, all the good stuff, and then go to the game. So there you go. Next.
Here's a good one. Where did it go? Popeye Sailor says he saw Bobby Orr play. He says Orr was much faster, but Hughes is way more slippery.
Huh. Well, I saw a comment from Bobby Orr one time, and they were asking him how he goes through the players, and he says, I look at the edge of their skates. If they're right, I'm going left. If their edge is going left, I'm going right. And that's what he did, and that's why you could never stop him. As far as for speed, I don't know. I think Hughes has probably got a little bit more speed than Bobby did. But, that was a long, long time ago. I mean, we're talking, I was just a kid back then. But that's a good observation. I like it. Good one.
Did you see the stuff with the Devils fans the other night where they were booing? I think it was either Luke or Jack. He had a couple of turnovers that led to goals against, and the fans were just booing him every time he touched the puck.
No.
Yeah.
I haven't watched Jersey at all, to be honest.
To be fair, they're not a great watch right now.
They're a mess. And that's why I picked Nico Hershiser, because I think he can be had. And if Billy can make a deal to get Hughes, I'm all in on just as long as it's not the moon, because he's hurt too much. And he's got the same kind of shoulder problem that Tarasenko had. And that's not good. It is what it is. When you're hurt all the time, you shouldn't have to pay the moon for him. And that's why I picked Nico Hershiser, because he's never hurt. He's good in the dot, and he's exactly what we need. I think, what's he, the second line center in Jersey?
Top guy, I think. Due to injuries, I think he's their top line guy right now.
Yeah. My favorite team to watch is the New York Islanders. And for a lot of reasons, but mostly because they used to have a lot of Minnesota kids on there. And, it is what it is. Al Arbor, who I've said before is the best coach I've ever seen. And the reason, and I thought about this, the reason he was such a good coach is because what he would do in game, the little changes he would make. Coaches don't do that anymore. I mean, yeah, Cooper does. And I think, what's his name in Colorado?
Bednar.
Yeah, he does that too. That's a sign of a high quality coach who makes changes in game to adjust to what the other team's doing there. That's keeping your finger on the pulse or whatever, however you want to say it. But Cooper's probably the best at it right now. And you look and see how Tampa's playing, and they had a ton of injuries, and look where they are now. I mean, he's just continually,
Yeah, and they did like an early Jack Adams poll for coaches. Bednar was on top, which is not a surprise.
Yeah.
It was Bednar, then it was, I forget who number 2 was, but it was Todd McClellan of Detroit, and then John Hines was 4th. Zero mention of John Cooper, which is bizarre.
That's terrible. Oh, God. The one thing I can say about Hines, I wasn't high on Hines starting out the year, as everybody knows. He's pressing all the right buttons now. He's making good lineups, and his fourth line time has increased, which I bitched about that for a long time. You can't have your fourth line playing 7-8 minutes a game because it doesn't do anybody any good. And he's increased all that, and he's making pretty good lineups, and he's pressing all the right buttons. So I got to give credit where credit's due.
He's showing a lot of faith in Urov too, which is nice.
Yeah, I'm very surprised about. But you look at Urov's play; how can he not play him?
Very good point. Very good point.
That kid is so good, and he very well could be our next superstar too, because he's got that much talent. It all depends on how hard he wants to work to get there. It took Boldy 3 years, and now look where he's at now. He's got a pretty good role model as far as work ethic goes. Kirill is routinely pointed out as somebody that is a first line player that works like a fourth line guy. Yes. He's the first to practice and the last to leave, and nothing wrong with that at all. But I really hope when they get the time, they got to do an in-house tourney, see who's got the shots, and from the results of the tournament, that's who they play in the shootouts. It only makes sense to me because right now Hines is guessing. I mean, that's how it looks to me. I don't know what your guys' thought on it, but, putting Tarasenko, I would have had Eriksson at minimum out there. And Hughes has only had, I don't know, 2, maybe 3 shot attempts in the shootout. So that's really not much to go on. But I would even give Hughes a shot. I mean, that's what that tourney would really show. And I really hope they, because I know they listen to the show, I hope that they do that. Figure out who's got the moves and then they just practice on. Just like Mikko Koivu, you come down and if the goalie doesn't move, you go forehand high. They move left to, then you do the backhand flip high. And you couldn't stop it. I mean, that's how good he was. And all those players have to learn. They got to have a shot that the goalie can't stop. Not it all comes with practice. Next question.
This is a good one. Anybody expected to retire at the end of the season that will open up roster spots?
Well, I don't see Bogle coming back. Johansson, if it's a 1-year deal, I'm in on it. I would not sign him any more than a 1-year deal, though, because when you sign him longer than that, you don't get the play from him. Look what we had with him for 2 years. He hasn't played anything like that this year because he's playing for a contract. So, he's always had the talent, as I talked about before. When he played the Worlds, he had 6 points in 4 games, and he looked like a beast out there. And he's doing it now. I mean, he's a hell of a skater. He's got real good entry speed. He's got good stick handling skills. And now he's engaged, which is something he didn't do before. And that's what it takes. Maybe it's just a confidence deal, too. I don't know. Because, 90% of this game now, everybody's got the talent. It's between the ears that makes the difference. If you're not confident, well, it shows either way.
Maybe it was as simple as him being told before the season started, you don't have a guaranteed spot on this roster. You got to earn it.
Oh, I'm sure they told him that. And I would put money that Billy did not expect this kind of play from him.
Yeah, I sure didn't.
Yeah, I didn't either. When you're averaging 11 goals a year for 2 years in a row, what are you going to expect? That's why we got such a good deal on him. Mm-hmm, but when you're playing for your life, it makes a big difference. Next question, if any.
Creepy Colors wants to know your thoughts on Robert Thomas.
I like him. It's just, the one thing that I'm not in favor of doing is moving too many players to shake up the team to get somebody. We have really good chemistry on this team. And I don't want to lose a couple of players or 3 players or whatever. I mean, if we can get him on a good deal, hell yeah, I love him as a player. But it all depends on what the deal is. I mean, there's a lot of depends there. But yeah, I really like him as a player. And that's another thing I wanted to bring up. When the Wild are playing well, they should be getting at least 10 shots a period, 30 shots a game. And you can tell when they're really gassed. Against the Kings the other night, they had 20, 21 shots in the third period. And they went to overtime and they got up to 28 at the end, I think.
Yeah.
You can tell they were really gassed. And I'm going to tell you something. And if this is the players' fault for not addressing the refs and no accountability. I had a show about this a long time ago, and I'm going to bring that up again. The refs absolutely screwed the Wild that game. I mean, that high sticking call at the end of the game, that wasn't his stick, that was Rossi. It was just a lift. And they got it for high sticking. No. And they wouldn't even look at it because they know. The refs have no accountability. And the more and more you look at it, and it's this way with in the NHL period, I think there's funny things going on again. When you look at baseball and all the cheaters they're catching, and basketball, the cheaters you're getting, football, well, I think hockey's in the mix too. Because goalies, not goalies, but the refs are not making the right calls. And then not just our team, but every team. So it gets you to thinking, who's getting paid off? Because that's what it looks like to me. We had a big scandal back in the 80s that I talked about last year. And I may have to update that a little bit. But when the referees have no accountability, and that's the player's fault because you did not address it, this is what you get. So you need to do something because the coaches don't care. Or, not the coaches, but the owners don't care. As long as they're making money, they're not changing nothing. And the same thing with the playoff format. We got to go back to 1-8. I mean, I don't know what they're thinking doing 1-4-2-3. I mean, that's ridiculous. It has to go back to 1-8. I don't know what your guys' thought, but to me, it's ridiculous. But in the end, to win the cup, you got to beat everybody to be the best. And, you know, I told you, I don't know, what was it, 3 weeks, a month ago, I'm picking the Wild to win the cup this year. Plain simple. Best team we've had in 25 years. And I'm getting old. I want to see a cup. Any more questions?
Let's just circle back to this. I think Freddie came in after this was discussed.
Okay.
So Ryan O'Reilly is, as of now, off the table.
Yep.
Okay. What about Austin Matthews?
Jeez, that would be a get. I don't think they would give up Austin Matthews. Now, Tavares, the reason I picked him, he's 35 years old, still got value, and Toronto's in free fall. And when you have a 60% in the dot, that's solid gold right there. I mean, I think he's the best in the league. I don't know where you look for the statistics for who's first, second, third, but 60% is phenomenal. That's why I picked him, and he's got a great contract. You know, when I give you players to think about for the Wild to trade for, I put a lot of time and effort into this. I mean, going through all the teams and look at all the statistics and looking at the contracts, and it takes a lot of time. And I love doing it. I mean, you know, this is my life. This is what I do. So please don't stop. Please start making comments again and giving me questions, because you hurt my feelings. 10 comments when I got over 1,000 views. What the hell's up with that? I don't get it. I'm the only podcaster that answers all your questions. So bring them on, right or wrong. Next.
Glenn wants to know what Matthews is in the dot. I mean, I don't think, and look, I get it. That would be a huge swing. But he's making $13.2 million a year for the next 2 seasons. Where are you putting that?
We can't afford it.
Are you going to have Toronto retain half?
They
Then
won't.
that's definitely going to cost you Yurov and Wallstedt. It's going to cost you both.
Yep. Yeah, it would. I wouldn't do it. As great a player as is, we can't afford him. Do we need him? No.
He's a
Would it be nice to
generational.
have?
He's a generational talent. He's a generational talent in the midst of a desolate year in Toronto. Would his
Yep.
numbers improve by being traded to a contender? Absolutely, they would. He's 58.5 in the dot, but it's in about 500, almost 600 attempts. So that's good. That's good. But again,
It's excellent.
you're going to have to get rid of somebody to put him on the roster.
Well, we'd have to move
Plus
Kaprizov for
prospects.
Boldy. I'm not in favor of that. He wouldn't be a good fit for our team because it would just cost too much. I mean, we have a hell of a team right now. We don't have to, you know, all these players that I pointed out to you are our first in a couple of picks or a couple of players that we can absolutely do. Austin Matthews is not a doable contract, period, because that's like we'd have to give him Kaprizov to get him, and I wouldn't do that. I just wouldn't. Nice thought, though.
Yeah,
We'd
look,
have an
I
all-star team then.
applaud. I applaud the swing. It's a big move. It's a bold move. I applaud it. It's just I think there are too many moving parts to make that happen.
Yeah, Austin Matthews would be a real tough sell for anybody. Because he wouldn't want to go to a team that's, in the same position as Toronto. Why leave Toronto to go to another bad team? Because that's the only way anybody could afford it. So, he's really untouchable, in my opinion. Nice thought, though. Next question.
What do you think about the Olympic roster for Team USA?
Well, as you brought up earlier, Seth, with Alex, I don't get why the highest scoring American is not on the team. Now, I've heard the cons are, he doesn't have good foot speed. Well, I don't know. He scores a hell of a lot of points. He's a good player. He plays a good two-way game, and he's always getting in the right position. He reads the plays well. I just don't see what they don't like in him. I heard one coach say, he doesn't have foot speed. Well, I don't know. That's being really ticky-tacky, I think, because he should be on the team, in my opinion. And then who do you take off the team to replace him? That's the next question.
Yeah.
I just, Billy had a lot of tough decisions, and who knows who gets hurt before that comes. He still may end up on the team because injuries are going to happen, and hopefully we can see him on it. Because as much as I hate Dallas, he's one hell of a player.
Yeah. He looks plenty fast anytime he plays the Wild.
Yeah, he just kills us. Next question, if any.
Just a couple of notes for the game tonight. Bogosian is out. Sounds like he has been put on injured reserve as well.
Oh, really?
So David Juracek was recalled. I don't see anything about him being put on injured reserve, though, but Juracek was recalled. It sounds like Matt Kierstead is in the lineup in favor of Bogosian. So I look for the Wild to come out hungry tonight and to rented mule the Kings this evening.
They're going to beat him like a redheaded stepchild tonight. That's my prediction. And as I said before, I like Kierstead. He'd be a starting defenseman on a lot of teams. That's how much depth we have. Mm-hmm. And that's all I can say about. Yeah, I see the Wild letting know who's boss tonight. Anything else?
I think let's go with this one from Big Bear, and then we'll wrap up because we're about 15 minutes away from game time. What did Herb Brooks say in 1980? I don't want the best players. I want the players who fit. What was the exact quote? Was that the exact quote?
Yes, it was. Big Bear, I'm impressed. Very good. Very good. In fact, right now I'm working on 2 more former North Stars to come on the show. What did everybody think of Scott Bukestad? It'd be nice to know your thoughts on it. Because that was special for me. Because, I'm a diehard North Star. As I know many of you are. Ron, I know he is, and Bob, and, I don't know how many North Star fans are here, but I'm definitely one. Anything else?
I think that is a good spot to leave it here and allow people a chance to grab a beverage, get a snack, and gear up for the game.
There you go. All right, everybody. My What the Hell Are You Smoking goes to Goat Satan Rex. I hope you learn a little something. The game hasn't passed me by. I hope you got a little bit about assets. And for all of you who don't think we have any assets, yes, we do. And I hope I explained that to you tonight. And I look forward to seeing you next Sunday night at 6. Is that what you said, or 8?
We can do 8.
All right, next Sunday, 8 o'clock. And you can listen to this old man who doesn't know shit about hockey talk some more. We'll see you, everybody. Good night.